We welcome Matt Lee. He's our good buddy, always talking about real estate concerns, and we welcome you.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's say someone's going to buy a brand new home. The shovels haven't even been in the ground yet. We're talking from the ground up. Lots of questions to ask.
Yeah, so we get into the situation where somebody comes to us and says, we want to buy a piece of land, we want to build a brand new house, we don't want to have the resale home. So we get a list of questions out, and we start, by going through what the criteria is of the buyer, and basically we can just kind of start it off because we have the list of questions.
We got a whole bunch of questions to get to. You're going to ask the buyer, or the builder, first of all,
Yeah.
how many years have you been in business? How many homes have you built? You want their background.
Yeah, absolutely. So we get asked these questions all the time, even as realtors. How long have I been in the business? How many homes have I sold? I think it's a very normal question. Some of these questions can be answered by going onto the builder's website, but I think having these questions and having the conversation with the builder himself is a good idea.
The onus is on the buyer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do your homework.
Yeah,
for sure.
do your homework and see what the quality is, and yeah, you want to know what you're looking for because it can change.
Another important question is, are you insured, I guess, where applicable, and or are you licensed where applicable?
Yeah, so you do an apprenticeship, a lot of trades, most trades, you do an apprenticeship, and you can do 5 to 6 years, maybe some that are quicker, but in the contracting, it's about a 5-year apprenticeship, and they want to know if you have been licensed. I know lots of great contractors that never did go through the process. They work for somebody for 20 years and never did the schooling, but they're educated from just the actual personal experience.
The hands-on.
But the insured side of it, where if they're working on your land and one of their guys gets hurt, you want to make sure that they're insured and that it's covered with a certain liability.
You want to ask the builder how they compare themselves to other builders. Maybe what are the most important benefits of the homes that they have built?
Yeah, see, this is a big one. So what you run into is, are you looking for a smaller home with higher quality where it's, you can go into a house and you can tell the difference of the upgrades? Or do you want this, bigger house, huge house that is built to code, but just built to code? I mean, there's a difference.
No extras.
No extras.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is what we see is that some people, where they have families that are growing, they might say, I want this style of home because, yes, I understand that you can kind of hear on the second floor somebody walking around, but you know what, I need that extra space for this amount of money. Or are you in the position where you want to buy a bungalow and you're saying, I'm retiring and I want high quality, or I want this, and you say, okay, well, we're going to look at this builder because they're going to charge you more per square foot to get that built done, or just in the comparisons. So that's why you need to ask the question, what are you looking for?
Why is it important to ask about what kind of warranty the builder might carry?
Well, so some people carry a Tarion warranty. Tarion warranty is kind of a stage process where basically they'll do construction warranties up to a year, drywall screw pops and different things. And you want to go on to the Tarion website and read how that actually is laid out, because what happens is that from the day you get your keys to 365 days later, you want to make sure that those builders are back in on that day to make sure that any imperfections are fixed. Because if they're not and you let it go, then they're gone. You can't actually come back on it. So you want to make sure, and then you go into the 2-year process. And Tarion, I think, goes up to 7 years on the actual foundation. So you're dealing with structure up to 7 years, but you might only be dealing with certain things throughout that time.
Right.
A
lot of people don't even have a vision of what their home will look like, only on paper, because
Yeah.
it's still not even a hole in the ground. But you can ask if they build model homes that they can tour,
Yep.
and if not, can they make an appointment to see the home that they did for another customer? That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So one is do they have the plans? Because they might have built a number of homes and kept each plan and say, oh yeah, we have these in the background, because plans can cost up to they can be anywhere from, I would say, $3,000 to $10,000 to create plans. Pardon me. So I think that having that, looking at the plans is one. The model home, a lot of builders, I mean, if they are a builder that's in town that have X amount of lots and they want to have something that they're going to do open houses for, they will have a model home. Builders that are on the smaller scale, they would probably have somebody that they would say, you know what, we've built your home, it's good quality. Would you mind if we called you once in a while to bring somebody in? And they likely will allow it. So I would say, if you don't have a model home, still ask the builder if there's a possibility to get into something they've built, because they might have somebody they built a home for that will allow them in.
So many questions, and your prerogative to answer or to ask as many questions as you can. Matt Lee, we thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, we'll see you next week, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Real estate tips brought to you by Matt Lee of Royal LePage.